What's up everybody? My name is Matt. I'm a photographer living in Hawaii, and in this video we're going to take a look at the difference between the 400mm f2.8 and Sony's 300mm f2.8. And of course I've got both of the lenses here. For size comparison, this is the 300mm lens here, and then this is the 400mm f2.8 lens. So you can see there is definitely a bit of a size difference between the two. So side-by-side comparison there. The 300mm is much lighter than the 400mm. This is, I don't want to say older technology, but this lens has been around a lot longer than this lens. This lens has been out for about a year now. It's the 300mm and again, the 400mm. So really great pieces of glass. I don't really think we need to dive into too much about quality or any of the technology in there. You guys, it's a G Master lens, both of these. They are top of the line, so if you're asking if they're sharp or not, they are. They're very sharp optically. They're incredible lenses. These are the best lenses that you can buy on the market. I don't know what else to say about that, so they're amazing lenses. What I did want to take a look at, though, is some of the accessories that it comes with and some things that I also do to travel with these lenses, because I know that these are pretty big lenses. They're really heavy, and it's kind of hard to travel with these. So first, let's take a look at the 300mm and the travel case that I use with it. So the lens, the 300mm comes with this case right here. It's just like a little zippered pouch right here. I personally do not really use this pouch at all, but there it is. It just opens up, the lens slides in, and it's got a, not a hard bottom, but you can kind of hear it. There's a little bit of solidness to it. So there's that. But what I really like to use is these Nanook cases here. It's the 935. So I just get the foam inserts, and then I basically just trace the outline of the lens and plucked out the little cubes that it comes with. So I find this to be much better. So this is the case that I use. The lens, of course, just fits right in here. I just leave the lens hood on, but I also put the cover on as well too, which is right here. So this is the lens hood cover. There's no hard case or anything for it, but it's pretty self-explanatory. Slides right on, goes right over it, protects your lens in the front here. So when I put my lens case in here, it fits nice and cozy, and it's got all the padding in there. So I chose this lens case mostly because when I'm traveling, it also has wheels, 2 wheels on the bottom, and then it's got this killer little extender handle as well too that goes up even further. So, and handles, as you can see on the side of my case, this thing has been all around the world with me, which is great, and it keeps everything nice and safe. Now, for the 400mm, it's a little bit of a different beast. Obviously, it weighs more, but I actually still have a case for it as well. So similar to the 300, I have this case as well too. It's just orange. It's the same exact thing with the same exact foam outline. Same thing. So I just throw the 400mm in there. Still has the wheels and everything. When you buy the 400mm lens, it is really long in length. And it does come with an actual suitcase from Sony. So this is the actual case that it comes with. So here it is. It's got 2 like little locks on there as well too. So it just fits in there, closes. This does not have wheels. It has a little carry strap, which is fine, but I just prefer the other carry case. So I use the Sony case when I'm just like traveling, like in the car to go to a shoot or whatever. I don't use it when I'm traveling like in an airplane. So that's just my preference. Up to you on whatever you decide you want to do. Taking a look as well too at the lens hood. So the lens hood on the 400 is significantly larger. It does come with this mount right here, which is a screw mount. Not the biggest fan of that. The 300 actually has a clip, and it just kind of clicks in instead of screw-on lids. So one thing that's a little kind of annoying for me at least is because I would rather just have a case to put this in and then put the lens cap on top, but the lens hood doesn't fit, or the cap here doesn't fit on this side, so you actually have to take it apart or unscrew this, and then the camera or the lens hood here cover fits on the back side. So I'll show it to you now. So this is the front of the lens hood, this is the back, so it just fits on there accordingly. So just kind of protects it, and then of course you can just put it back on just like this, and then you just got to screw it back on. So just like that. So it's pretty compact actually once you break it down like this, but obviously if you're ready to shoot, you got to take this off, flip it around, and then put the hood back on there accordingly. So those are just some of the physical differences. Both of these lenses do have a drop-in CPL filter. So right here that you can see, basically all it is this one is not the actual, it doesn't have any tint on it or anything, but simply pop it out, and then you can see right here, it's nice and clear, so you can see me through there. When you buy the CPL filter, it's an additional, I think, $400, but it is, in my opinion, essential to have. I actually have it on the 300 right now, so I'll pull that out so we can take a look at the difference in those. Let me get this out. Sorry, I was not really well prepared for this video. I don't really edit anything. I just kind of post and go and make people deal with my videos as they are. So anyways, so here's the drop-in filter. Again, this is now the 300mm. So same way, you just push it in, twist it out, and then it comes out. So you can see that this one is much darker. And you can control the darkness or the tint of the filter here by just using this little screw right here, and then it changes. So you probably really won't be able to see a whole much when I'm doing that, just because we don't have good light. But anyways, so those are just the kind of the physical differences between these two lenses. In regards to which one you should buy, well, I can't really answer that question because I think everyone has different lenses for different reasons. I really wanted the 300, and then I also really wanted the 400. If you do have a teleconverter, so I have the 1.4x with me right now. So this is the 1.4x teleconverter. If you haven't seen those, basically this just plugs into the back of the lens here, and then this side looks just like that, and that plugs into your camera body. When you're using the teleconverters, I don't really use the 2x teleconverter as much anymore. I will use the 2x teleconverter when I have a lot of light. So if I don't have a lot of light, I'm probably either just not going to use a teleconverter, or I'm going to use the 1.4x teleconverter. So keep in mind that the teleconverters, not only they will extend the reach of your lens, but it will also change the minimum aperture. So both of these lenses are 2.8 lenses. If I'm using a 1.4x teleconverter, the minimum aperture that I'm going to be able to use is f4. So even though it's a 2.8 lens, with the teleconverter, it's going to change the minimum aperture as well too. So keep that in mind as well too. I remember when I first started and I was like trying to figure out teleconverters, and I put it on my 200 to 600, and I was thinking, oh cool, I'm going to have 1200 millimeters and I'm still going to be able to shoot at 6.3. Well, guess what? I was wrong, because I totally didn't even process that it would change the minimum aperture as well. So I shot a lot of things at really high aperture values. So taking a look at some of the photos, I know I have other videos that I've shared, different things. I actually was just at the airport this morning doing some work with my friends over at Go Fly Maui. They're a helicopter company. I do a lot of media and photo training as well too there. So I wanted to show you some of the photos that I took. The reason why I shoot with the telephoto lenses, quite frankly, is the compression. I absolutely love it. I know that a lot of people are used to shooting with like wider lenses, like a 35 or a 50 or an 85 or something like that. I pretty much predominantly shoot with telephoto lenses because that's the look and feel that I like for my photos. It is what it is. So let's take a look at the helicopter here taking off. I did shoot this one I shot this with the 400mm. I really wanted the mountains in the background. These are iconic mountains here on Maui. You can see the windmills also in the background. However, I did not want the focus of the image to get lost, because I knew that the helicopter was just going to be taking off and taxiing out, so I knew they were going to be super low, and I didn't really want the focus of the detail to distract you from that subject, which is the helicopter, to the mountains in the background. So I shot this pretty open. I controlled a lot of my settings with my shutter. So just taking a look here at the file information. Let me move this over real quick here. So I shot this at 400mm, 1/2000th of a second. I stopped up just a tiny bit to 3.5. Technically, I didn't need to do that because I knew that I was perpendicular, but whatever. So aperture priority mode, I really, I've been starting to shoot a little bit more in aperture priority mode, especially when I'm shooting outside in more unpredictable conditions. Like there's clouds, then there's sun, and then the clouds come back. So it's kind of changing conditions, and it was just better and easier for me just to stick in aperture priority mode. So cool photo. Here they are taking off. Not much to say about it. I think the Kahului airport here on Maui is pretty iconic, and the green roofs have always been something I've enjoyed. Unfortunately, the cloud coverage, as you can also see on the top here, started to roll in off the mountains, so we had a lot of north wind. The clouds start to form, and there's not a lot of detail in the mountains anyway, so I wasn't really focused on that. I didn't really think it was necessary to include really bright clouds, which were, if you understand what I'm saying, they're gray clouds, but they're very flat and very boring. So I did not wish to really include much in there. So this is actually taken right before on the ground. As you can see, it's a little bit too much reach. 400mm, it's hard to shoot people at 400mm, especially when they're waiting for you to take a photo. So I had to back up quite a ways to go take this photo. I was probably 30, 40 yards away maybe from them. Maybe not quite that much, probably 30 yards away or so, and it's still, it would have been nice to get a little bit more of the helicopter, but it is what it is. So when I shoot, a lot of times I grab a lens and I don't think of, okay, I need to grab this lens and switch it out and do this and do that. I don't really operate like that. I just make the best of whatever lens I grab and go. Sometimes I bring the 70 to 200, sometimes I bring the 300 with me, sometimes I bring the 400. You know, I just bring a lens and I go and I take photos. That's what I do. So this is taken with the 300mm. So I shot this earlier, and they were just far enough away, fortunately, from me where I could fill the entire frame. These photos, none of them in which we're looking at are cropped. They are what they are. I mean, I just took the photo just like that. I filled the frame. They were approaching towards me, so you can see the taxiway there. You know, they are landing and coming towards me. So of course, shortly after this photo was taken, they were too close to me. And, you know, it'd be great to be able to zoom out, but the quality that I'm getting with the prime lenses is always greater than anything with the zoom. So that's why I just prefer to risk it, get the few photos that I need, and I don't have to continue shooting more photos and trying to back up and like trying to coordinate anything. Like he's not waiting for me to tell him what to do. Like the helicopter is landing. I need to clear space, of course, and get out of the way, and that's just, it is what it is. So here is, oh yeah, I took this one with the 400 as well too. I think the point of this photo that I really wanted to show you guys was the megapixel count. So if you're new to my channel, you probably know that I'm not really commonly shooting things with 60 megapixels or more. I'm shooting a lot of older technology and putting top quality glass on and getting results. So I think there's a lot of people that argue about that, and I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter to me. Like, I don't need more megapixels because I don't need to crop a whole deal. This particular photo, what I really liked about this is that as they were taxiing out to the taxiway, we have all of these private jets here, and we even have some of these small planes that are parked in between as well too. And it was really, really busy. So compared to some of the other photos like this one, it's not a busy photo, right? There's one clear subject, there's a clear background, and they're separated, and it makes the subject stand out. In this photo, that's not really what's happening. There's a lot going on. In fact, you're kind of like, okay, wait, what's going on? And at 24 megapixels, I still have the luxury to crop in. I don't necessarily need to crop in a ton, but I think the point is that you can still get outstanding photos even when you crop. There's a lot of discussion online about that and how you need more megapixels, and I don't know what, probably 90% of, maybe even more, 95% of photographers, I'm guessing, are probably just printing or just publishing things like on Instagram and social media. I don't know what to say. I have a printer here, actually right next to me. I've got a 24-inch printer there, and you know, when people say you can't shoot JPEGs, or you know, your camera doesn't have enough megapixels to print anything, okay, I beg to differ. You know, I shoot a lot of JPEG photos, and I've made some massive prints. So I have in the studio, in the garage, there's a 44-inch printer that I can make giant prints using 24 megapixel cameras, and even some that I've cropped in a little bit as well too, and I can still make good prints out of. So just be cautious when you are listening to certain people that are adamant that you need the megapixels. I completely understand that there are scenarios where you do need megapixels. Anyways, I think that's kind of all that the major things that I wanted to talk about. If you had any questions about comparing the 300mm to the 400mm lens, just ask. You can shoot me an email. It's just my username at Gmail. A lot of people reach out to me on Instagram as well too. Just InstaMauiMatt is all of my users, and I'm always happy to help answer questions. If you have any questions, reach out to me. I'm InstaMauiMatt. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support. We'll see you next time.